So, you think you're untouchable?
Word life. This is basic thugonomics. This is basic thugonomics. Word life.
Something happened very recently in modern wrestling that I wanted to get your opinion on, which was the John Cena heel turn. Just because it was, for me, one of the biggest things to happen in modern wrestling in a long time. That did, I have to say, the first thing in a long time that I've watched and actually got a little bit of a chill and been like, oh shit, like that's a similar feeling to what I used to get in the old days.
No, absolutely, yeah.
So I just wanted to get your sort of take on the John Cena heel turn and because I think it was a really good bit of business. So what are your feelings on it?
I think it's I think you're right. I think it's a huge deal, and you're right. It's people have been comparing it to Hogan at Bash at the Beach. It's not Hogan at Bash at the Beach, but it's close. And the fact it's even close,
it's the closest thing that you could do to that now.
Oh yeah,
nothing else there.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. I mean, the fact that it's even in the same ballpark is impressive. John Cena's not been a heel since 2002 when he first joined. And I know people kept saying he should turn heel at some point during his career, and they always held off on it because he had such good merch sales. And why would you? And I get it.
No, I got it. How about a little heel turn?
But the fact that, in a weird way, the fact they've held it off for his retirement tour, where everyone just thought, okay, he's going to have a year, he'll probably win a 17th world title, he's probably going to do a lot of... Yeah, he'll wrestle Orton, he'll wrestle AJ Styles, he'll wrestle so-and-so. I mean, he'll have all these moments. And I think that would have probably left a lot of people at the end of the year being like, it would have been like, yeah, that was good. And then there would be a bit of a shrug. I think the fact they've done this year, in his last year, and I mean, it's immediately made it more interesting. So yeah, I mean, it's a big deal. They've probably got more eyes. I guarantee. I mean, I don't know off the top of my head. I bet if you looked at the YouTube clip or whatever for him turning heel, it's going to have.
Yeah,
I reckon 100 million.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's amazing. What I really liked about it, like you said, I thought it was it is. I don't. They didn't do it on purpose, but I do like the fact that for years and years and years, everyone was like, "Turn him heel, turn him heel, turn him heel," and they never did. And now they've gone. At the one point when no one expected him to do it, then they went. Now's the time to do it. I do like that. I also like the way the whole thing was shot with him looking over Cody's shoulder and the facial expression that he pulled. I really enjoyed. I just thought the whole thing was really well done. I mean, I know that's sort of standard WWE rather. They've got very good production. But I like the whole thing. I did think the one thing I want to say about it is that while I think it was one of the best bits of business in the last probably 20 years, I also thought it sort of exemplified how modern wrestling can't be old wrestling. It's like they couldn't do it without having fucking Travis Scott out in the ring. Like, why was he there? Yeah. Like, is that no one? Like, imagine at Bash at the Beach, right? If like Hogan had come out, but just before like Hogan had come out, Pamela Anderson had come out, and everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's Pamela Anderson!" And then she just stood there, and Hogan then came out and did the leg drop, and then she like slapped, like, and it would be like, "Oh my god, Hogan turned heel," and Pamela Anderson was there. I was like, "Why do you need?" Like, no one at the time then was like, this isn't a big enough deal unless we have some celebrities involved.
Yeah. And you know what it is? Yeah. No, here's the thing.
Such a big fucking deal, and you just ruined it with this cunt who no one cares about. I don't know who this guy, I know who he is, but I don't care about him in any way. And it's like... and you know what it is? Job and like get their moment, and like you had to like muddy the waters with this bullshit. I hated that.
And you know what it is, right? And this is just me being incredibly skeptical and very like, I don't know why you'd want celebrities to water that down anyway, like you said. I'm always kind of worried when you bring in non-wrestling people that are just celebrities, because you know what? All it's going to take is one scandal for Travis Scott to be in, where they realise they can't have him on screen anymore, and one of your most important ever segments, you have to do some funny editing with it. Because you can't just pretend it doesn't exist, right? This isn't like Benoit, who was a big deal, but but you're never going to do a clip of him. You know what I mean? Like, you always have to pretend it doesn't exist. That was a wrestler that you kind of have to have on screen because he's a wrestler. This is a random celebrity. All it's going to take is, and I'm not saying he's done anything. I'm not even going to suggest what he may, but I mean, all it's going to take is one thing where it goes, oh yeah, he's been arrested for X, Y, or Z, and
Travis Scott's
going to have to go, right, how are we going to edit him out of this? You know what I mean? Like, why bother risk have him in a moment with R-Truth doing something that isn't going to matter? You know what I mean? Yeah. Okay, we have to edit that out. We have to never have that moment again. For John Cena's heel turn, don't even bring in stuff you don't need to that could in the future backfire. You know what I mean? It's just daft. Yeah. Like, that's my big concern.
Yeah, I don't know. I just didn't like. Did you hear that he busted Cody Rhodes' eardrum?
Yeah, because he just lamped him around the side of the head. Yeah.
Punched him in the side of the head for real while he was laying on the floor.
Yeah, well,
the whole thing pissed me off, man. Like, having him there just annoyed me. And what annoyed me about it was so good, and he was just this extra. It was like a bit having like a Hollywood scene. Like, imagine like the best film scene you've ever seen, and there's just this extra in the background, like dancing around and like getting involved when he shouldn't be there. Yeah. I was like, why is this? Like, he literally has no reason to be out here. But I just thought it was funny that it was like one of the best things that I've seen in years. And I watched it, and I'm too old to be a John Cena guy. Like, he was after my time in wrestling, was his prime years. Yeah. But even me watching it got like a chill watching him do the heel turn thing, and I was like, oh yeah. And then the whole thing afterwards with fucking Travis Scott just made me go, like, this is why I hate modern wrestling.
What I thought they did very well with that as well, and they didn't do the whole promo explanation thing. I'm glad because when he does the initial kick, it's the shock and the reaction, but you do get kind of some people cheering because, oh, finally we've seen it. The fact you have him for the next 10 minutes, beat him up Cody, and not just beat him up, but like, whip him and hit him with a Rolex, and you dwell on it and you have him mount him and just start hammering him in the head. Very quickly, people are like, oh no, don't be like, oh, what are you doing? No, I don't want to see you be a real heel. You know what I mean? And it won the crowd over to be like, no, we actually don't want, you're a bad guy now. And not only that, this leads them into, because I don't think anyone thinks he's going to retire as a heel, right? He's going to probably win his 17th title, maybe not at WrestleMania, but maybe at some point I think he will. He'll have a couple of months holding the belt. He'll lose it or whatever, and then he'll have his... It's the one thing Hogan never had as the NWO. He never really had a redemption story arc, did he? Yeah, it was just, he's a face again now. Oh, people cheered him at WrestleMania, so he's a face now. He never had that storyline of, okay, no, you're going to redeem yourself, and that's what they can do with John Cena. So he can still have his big send off, but now it's a story, and that's the fact that I'm like, oh yeah, I want to see where this goes. Well done.
Yeah, no, like I said, take out the Travis Scott stuff, and I genuinely was blown away by it, and I was like, yeah, like the only thing that anyone's done in 20 years that's actually made me feel anything.
Yeah, absolutely.
Word life. I'm untouchable, but I'm forcing you to feel me. Whether fighting or spitting, my discipline is unforgiving. Got you backing up in a defensive position. An ass-kicking anthem, heavyweight or bantam, holding cans for ransom. The microphone phantom, teams hit the floor, it's the new fight joint. Like a broken needle, kid, you missing a point.